Welcome back, fellow Unity enthusiasts. In today's tutorial, we have something truly exciting to explore. We'll be diving into the fascinating world of Unity editor scripting and create custom inspectors for our very own custom objects. I'm your host, Erfan0Z, and I can't wait to guide you through this insightful journey. Have you ever wanted to enhance Unity editor's functionality and tailor it precisely into your project's needs? Well, that's exactly what we'll be doing together today. By the end of this video, you will have the knowledge and the skills to create custom inspectors that will make your workflow smoother, more efficient, visually appealing. So let me show you something real quick. Let's start by examining the first script called Farmer. This script derives from the Villager script and is part of an RTS project that I developed before and will be using it in this tutorial. As you can see in the Spectre, the farmer script contains a multitude of variables, resulting in a cluttered and overwhelming view. Now let's introduce the second script, which has been optimized using editor scripting techniques, Villager script. This script showcases a cleaner and more intuitive inspector interface with categorized tabs. With the using of tabs, we can neatly organize our variables into different sections, allowing for easier navigation and understanding of the script's functionality. Each tab presents a specific category of variables related to the Villager script. Let's take a closer look at the Entity tab. Here, we find variables such as name, code, category, description, and more, all neatly grouped together. For categorizing the variables, we can quickly locate and modify the desired properties without getting overwhelmed by the sheer number of options. Even if we can enable and disable variables that we need, for example, resources doesn't need character options. Moving on to the unit tab, we can see variables related to the character's speed percentage, unit type, state, task, and other unit-specific properties. This organization allows us to focus on the specific aspects of the character's unit's behavior, make it easier to fine-tune their functionality. Lastly, let's explore the Stats tab. Here we find variables related to the character's stats, unit stats that represent scriptable objects, but using editor script property draw to show us all scriptable objects with a draw and stats variable for this unit. By grouping these variables together, we gain better control over the character's statistical attributes, providing a more efficient editing experience. As you can see, through the power of Unity editor scripting, we can transform the cluttered inspector to a well-organized and user-friendly interface. So let's dive into it. So this is a view of inspector without any customization. Before we implement the customized tabs, you have to know the essentials of Unity editor scripting. For any Unity editor script, you have to create a folder editor like this and put all your editor script inside it. These scripts are only executed within the editor and have no impact on the final game build. And I like to use if statement for that. First of all, any Unity editor script needs to derive from Unity editor.editor class and then specify what scripts you want to edit. Custom editor type of, in this case, Villager. For override and edit inspector in Unity environment, you have to specify onInspector GUI method, and it has base.onInspector GUI line. What does that mean? It will call the base method of this method, implement all the default variable and stuff going on this method. If we go to the Unity editor, there is no change on our inspector because of that line. And when I remove this line, you can see there is nothing in the inspector. It's empty because we are override that method but didn't add anything in it. After that, there is a two-line of code in this method that you have to know. Serialize the object.update. First line. What does this mean? This will apply all the changes in inspector to your target script, in this case Villager. And another line is serialized object that apply modified properties. This will update inspector itself. To show you how, let me first of all write a line for a variable. We can do that by editor GUI layout and then property field. It will make a field for serialized property, okay? So serialized object dot find property name. It's exact same name of the object. If I go to the unit entity, this is it. So now we can see the name field property in our inspector, like this. So first of all, let's comment this line. And I want to edit the property and press enter. It doesn't change. But if I comment this line, you can't see any changes in the inspector because everything's okay in the inspector. And when you run the game without this line, you will have a problem with the properties in this targeted script didn't update. So keep in mind, start the method with the serialized.update and finish the method with serialized object apply modified properties. Now you learn how to edit basic inspector in your targeted script, like this. I forgot to mention what is a serialized object. Serialized object basically it's each object that represent and begin to inspect. So every object that has villager script it will be a serialized object. Okay, let's start implement our customized tabs. We begin with private property, private field in our current tab that we selected, and then we need a property private again GUI content, but RI because we have multiple tabs. Let's call it tab labels. For set the data for our labels, let's call onEnable method and then tab labels equal new content GUI content. So the GUI content just store a string for our labels. We can use it through our customize tabs or customize our inspector. I will show you how. So new GUI content. First step is entity, then duplicated, unit, duplicated, and then stats. For using GUI content, let's use it through our inspector for a label. So editor GUI layout dot label field, and then we can use, for example, string, or we can use our table labels. For example, first one that would be entity units. Sorry, that would be unit. This is it, and we can give it a style. For example, editor style dot one bold label or anything else you want. Yeah. So now let's draw our tabs bottom for but tab labels dot length and plus plus, and then GUI layout dot toggle. We draw a toggle current equal I, and then tab labels I. It will withdraw our toggles, but it doesn't work. So how to do that? So let's put it in if statement. We don't need the semicolon, and then set current tab equal I. Now we can select them. So but this style is not satisfied because it's vertical and it's not like tabs bottom. So let's do the styles for that. So first of all we have to do it horizontal, not vertical, let's go. So GUI layout dot begin horizontal, that will begin our horizontal section, and after that GUI end, I think. Yeah, let's see the result. Yeah, that will do that. This is horizontal now. And now let's make it like a bottom and like tabs bottom. In order to do that, let's first of all specify GUI style for tab style. So editor style dot toolbar button semicolon, and then we have to specify a style for it for the selected tab button. So GUI styles selected tab style equal new GUI style tab style, and we change it like selected tab styles dot normal dot background equal selected tab style dot active dot background. We want to show it, this is the active one, this is the active button for our tab styles, and then we can add it here. GUI styles style equal current tab if equal to I selected style, if it's not, the normal tab style, and then we can add it here style, then we can see the result. Yeah, we have our tabs and we can select them. Easy as it is. After that, we have to specify every variable that we want to show in a specific tab. For example, we want to show the name property in the entity tab. So to do that, let's remove the label. We don't need that, and then switch to the current tab, and then case. If it was 0, just draw this. Don't forget to break. Case 1, break. Case 2, break. So we have 3 tabs. We can draw another variable here and another variable here. So what we want to specify in unit, for example, not this one. Yeah, I think it is. And then for stats, now we can move to the tabs and see the different variables through each other. So for sake of time of content and many duplicate variables and names here and here and here, I will stop the video and write all of them and then come back. So I add all the variables that I want to show through inspector, and it just duplicate the codes, and the difference is the name of the variables. Of mine, you have to specify your name of variables and then you're good to go. And I have to mention something for the, so this is the result, and for the variables like mine selection audio that has the children in it, just put the true comma true to include children. Okay, yeah, good to go. But it's not satisfied for me even. How we can do it better? For example, I put the space here to add a space to our inspector. In order to do that, so editor GUI layout dot space. We're adding a space here and here and here and here. So let's go see the result. Yeah, it's better. It will put a space in here. You can do it like this to get more space, but it's going crazy. Yeah, it's not good. And I want to add labels for that, for each of them. For example, label field, and want to use a string, not GUI content. You can use GUI content or string, for example, general variables, and then editor style dot bold. Oh, I didn't and layout, editor GUI layout, label field, string, and then editor side that label bold label. And we can copy them here and here. So here's go for here character variables, and then we can say unit variables, and here stats variables. So yeah, that's it. You can see the labels here. Yeah, everything is done, but one thing I have to include in here is that the character variables is just for units, and this entity tabs and this variables goes for my resource objects as well, okay? But I don't want to have them in my resource objects. So in order to do that, I add a variable in my script called has character. Yeah, the boolean variable has character. Two, we can use it through our editor. I didn't include it yet. In order to do that, we have specified a variable for our villager script. So type of villager script, for example, equal type of villager, and then target. So below the character variables label, we go for editor GUI layout dot toggle once again, and then name it show character options, and then villager script dot, yeah, this is the variables has character, and then implementing if statement villager script dot if has character was true, we put all these here. So we can enable and put villager script dot has character equal to editor layout toggle, and then we can enable and disable it. I like to move these variables one unit forward. To do that, we can go for editor GUI dot indent level plus 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 1, and then editor GUI dot indent level minus minus to see the result even more better. Yeah, something like this. You can do that even after any of your labels like this. Last thing I want to do, it's the villager basically, it's inherit from the Unity script in my RTS game. And then every villager have to have to upgrade to convert to, for example, farmer, because villager can't farm through our game. Let me show you. Yeah, they can't go for farm. I'm right clicking, but the farmers can go farm. So so basically, farmer inherits from villager script, but our farmer script is messy like default. So how can we do that? So simply for the Unity editor scripting, just like a farmer script inherit from villager, we can go for add a script for farmer editing, farmer script edit. So farmer editor, yeah, it's a class, yeah, then inherit from villager editor, and then go for on inspector GUI and base, and I forgot to customize editor type of farmer. Yeah, if you get any error above here, multi-script editing, just deselect the object and select it again, and you good to go. And yeah, something like this, you can use it through your game to basically improve your editing experience through your game design. So this is basically this stuff going on in the big project for games, or even every project for game. This is a responsibility for the engineer tech, okay, software engineer tech, because for example we have lots of roles in the game design and game making and game industry. We can talk it if you want later. For example, tell you every role, every responsibility through the game and all the stuff. And this is the responsibility for the software engineer tech, because, for example, core scripting would be like write a logic of your game. For example, write the farmer script and villager script, resources script, I don't know, game manager script itself, but for the designer. So first of all, logicer or core scripter will implement all the logic of your game, for example, farmer script, game manager script, and then software engineer tech will create an editor and many things. For example, editor window, we can do it later, editor window for improve the experience of designer. So maybe sometimes for sake of testing, for scripting core, you have to come and set the things and then test it. But the responsibility of set the variables through the Unity environment and then put them and make all of them together, and the result will be the game. This is a responsibility for the designer, for and software engineer tech will improve the experience of the designer. So yeah, that's it. We can talk about the roles and responsibilities and workflow of the game making in the future videos. And if you had any question about the editor scripting or general Unity and any other language or any video suggest for my channel, just let me know in the comment down section below. Thanks for watching. That's pretty much it for this video. If you enjoyed it, subscribe and ring that notification bell so you don't miss the next one. Hope you find it insightful and inspiring. See you in the next video. Bye. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. 1 minut belki izleyeceğim.